Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is a Conquest video. We're looking at the final sector, number 5, as we work towards Jocasta New. We're going to look at the feat progress we made as we try to efficiently tackle each of these sectors. We were able to do it in a single run through today. The squads that we utilized to complete that goal, the Datadisks, and my thought process behind choosing which ones I did, and then how we tackled the boss note. Today we're also going to look at that one funky global feat where they mandated the characters in the squad. With the global feats, we were only able to make some minor incidental progress. We have completed the Inquisitor feat. I use them if we hit a tough node. It's also an easier one to complete since it's only a defeat. You don't have to use it that many times. And then we have a couple additional attacks with light side Mandalorians. I wish I would have leaned on them a little bit more since that is going to be one of the last ones I complete, if at all. We might just have red crated by the point that even becomes something even to consider. With Sector 5, this one was easy. We were able to tackle all of these during our initial playthrough the sector. We have evasion down 50 times, 10 battles with Merrick and Sheen Hadi, defeat 35 enemies with Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. All 3 of those you can do with a single team, or make a good amount of progress utilizing a single team. And then we have defeat 35 enemies with Phoenix units, which does not overlap with the rest. Although you could throw Cal Kestis into the Phoenix squad, but it just makes things more complicated. Not worth it. So with your Phoenix squad, if you have Krex, it's easy. Use whichever versions work best for you. I use Chopper and Kanan because Kanan's at Relics. Chopper I just think is very valuable to be on there. And if you choose the right nodes, Rex isn't going to have any problems. I did use some consumables a couple times. I didn't buy any, just the ones that we got from making our progression through the crates. I used those to boost the speed a little bit. Because if you haven't noticed, all of these boosters, every single version of these always has plus 20 speed. You don't have to have just a speed one. So you can throw any of those on and get that little bit of advantage. But what's nice about this one is it's a defeat 35 enemies, not a win 10 times, which means you choose the right nodes like a Mon Mothma or a Night Sisters, you can get more than 5 defeats in a single battle. So you're not going to need that many nodes to actually accomplish this goal. So you can do it in 6 or less. For the other 3 feats, there's going to be 3 great options, but I leaned on this Seer Junda squad the most. We'll talk about all of them. What I like about the Seer Junda squad is she just adds a bunch of survivability to low stamina because of her protection up and recovery mechanics. And she's going to be great if you don't have the Bale and Skull squad, if you don't have Sheen Hadi and Merrick at Relics. She's going to do great with those lower star, lower gear versions of Sheen Hadi and Merrick. So that'll make the win 10 battles much easier. And then for the rest, you have Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, who plays very nice with Seer Junda because she has Jedi synergy as well. You just need to make sure that with some AoE abilities, you're staying away from them if characters are getting into the red, switching over to basics to make sure that Jedi Knight Cal Kestis has his opportunities to get those defeats. And then you have Cal Kestis himself with his not so fast ability doing AoE evasion down. Although I didn't make as much progress with evasion down with him as I was hoping, partly because of that's modding and because he's modded slower, and part of it is because he was just getting controlled a lot, like getting stuck behind an ability block. So I'd only use it maybe once a battle, which was not what I was hoping for. But for the rest, we have some options. Like you can just take out Seer Junda, switch to a Bale and Skull squad to have even stronger synergy with Sheen Hadi and Merrick if you have him, of course. And Cal Kestis, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, is a mercenary character, so he can remain in the squad to get the opportunity for more defeats. Then you do have options for evasion down. Zam being your best option for evasion down, because with her electro goggles ability, she has another AoE inflict evasion down, which will help make some additional progress. So this is one I would swap to if I hit a tough node and I needed some other options to punch through something that Seer Junda couldn't. And then your other great option, and this is what I used to finish off some straggling remainder numbers on the Cal Kestis and evasion down feats, this is going to be the basis of a strong Jedi squad to do that with. Because with inherited teachings, you can make sure you're calling in Old Ben. I would do this when they had a lot of health, because he does evasion down on basic, and then I would finish characters off by calling in Cal Kestis. I would just pair them with characters that bring assists, like Exile if you have them, but if you don't have Exile, then Jedi Knight Luke for some additional control and survivability, and Jedi Knight Revan is really nice because of the turn meter swapping and the heal. But between those 3 options, you're going to just crush those feats very quickly. With Datadisks, no major changes. I did bring in Spirited Speed, though, and Quickening to round out the set. The big thing here is I have a combination of Turn Meter and Heavy Defense. That felt like the best sets that I could build out of what we have. We have Defense with Fortified and Entrenched, giving a very strong early start to a battle where they can just absorb a ton of attacks, and then that's paired also with Undercover for little backup survivability. And then a combination of Blindside and Stacking Fervor for a bunch of extra offense. And then we have Turn Meter with Quickening and Ruthless Swiftness and Spirited Speed, pairing those three together to make sure my squads were staying pretty fast. With discs at the first node, we have Unstable Decelerator and a couple greens, one that I already have. Actually, I think I might even have a blue protection shield. Or I have a protection mechanic disc that I like that's in a blue. I think it's the attack out of turns, not the critically hit. And we also have Solid Intel down below, and that one's tempting. And of those two, I grabbed the Solid Intel because they're both 2 dots. I don't really like Unstable Decelerator. If it was a single dot, I may have considered it, but I go with the Solid Intel, but I don't end up using it ultimately. At the crossroads, we have some nice options here with Protection Shield and Entrenched. The Protection Shield, we skipped the green at that previous fork, so we have actually a nice upgrade opportunity here. The middle node, we have a Fortified, but I already have one of those, so obviously we don't need it. And then we have some green options, but we already have them other than the ability exhaust, and I don't like ability exhaust. So we grab that Protection Shield. At the next fork, we have Painful Trials, Blindside, Spirited Speed. I do have a blue Painful Trial, so I don't need that green one. And down below we have Power and Entrenched. Not interested in those. I grabbed the Spirited Speed. Have an opportunity to stack those if I want. At the final node, we got Fortified we already have, Defensive Formation we already had, so I just grabbed the weak spot. But we're done. At the middle boss, we have Defeat an Enemy with Exile Ezra, and we have Hokey Religions. And your best option if you don't have GL Ahsoka is to use Jedi Master Luke lead. I did try to do General Syndulla, not even close, because General Syndulla was working for me on other nodes in earlier sectors that were requiring Spectre units. So I gave it a shot. Did not cut it this time. I mean, it was very unlikely going up against gas. Here I could have put in Old Ben, but I opted to go with extra assist calls. And I like the AoE control, and I like the ability to mark. And Jocasta is here because of obviously the defeat feat. And in this case, this is pretty straightforward. Looks like I'm being indecisive for a moment. Oh, I was swapping the slots because I'm obsessive about things like that. But here I'm trying to be mindful of 2 separate feats. So we control with Jedi Knight Luke. We get those attacks in. Going after 5s because we have to. We're calling in those assists. We're getting 5s weaker. And Skywalker stands up. So things are going to take a little bit longer. Would have been nice to have taken out 5s, but we didn't get it in time. Skywalker down. And here, I should have used that ability. I thought the basic would do it. And that was a error. And now I'm making a decision. Do I want to one-shot or attack the characters with other abilities? I've decided I wanted to save the one-shot probably for gas, so I didn't use it. Unfortunately, there we have a retribution from JML taking out a character. It happens again, which is unfortunate. Now I'm just hoping to get another opportunity. We take out gas, and then here we finally get the moment we need for Exile to get the defeat. For the Hokey Religions feat, this is an opportunity to use light side Mandalorians and work on the global feat. None of these characters are unaligned force users, so this will do great, even up against gas. I like to bring in armor for the extra mass assist, and Beskar is going to help the survivability. Just got to be careful with a couple things, but you don't have to worry about using any particular character to defeat anybody. Just some of the cooldown manipulation slows things. You can see how Fortified and Entrenched are helping absorb a lot of these attacks up against gas. We're going after 5s. Gas is already back up, but we have a mass assist to quickly go through gas. And what's nice about the mass assist is we have blindside, so that's how we get those 4 stacks of entrenched, or 4 stacks of exposed. Knock out 5s quickly. This mass assist takes out Rex, but we don't get 3 stacks of Beskar happen too quick. That's actually why I paused here for a moment. I was thinking maybe I want to save an opportunity for armor to get that 3rd stack. And then knock out gas. An easy win, but I do think some of those discs help add survivability here. And for the final boss, we are not covering GL Ahsoka. I am a free-to-play player. I do not have her. I will probably have her in about a month, maybe a month and a half. We're close. So we're only doing size matters not, win without using a Galactic Legend. And here we are back to light side Mandalorians to make more progress on those global feats. We just try and slot them in where we can and where we don't have to worry about the sector feats. And in this case, this one's easy. I haven't done my Jocasta new kit breakdown video yet, so I don't actually know it that well. But I decided to prioritize her first regardless, because we do know the other character kits, and I'm not too concerned about the rest of them. So any difficulty that is here would be introduced by Jocasta new. So I treat her like the threat and prioritize her. And we take her out pretty quickly, and now the rest of this does not matter. Doing Qui-Gon next, because he's just easy to take out. We have a little bit more annoyance with characters like Barriss and Shakti. Shakti I handle next. But it's an easy boss, and this is something where I don't think CG has found the right balance in these conquests. This one's too easy in a very boring way, and I know people don't like the grindiness. I don't think they should introduce difficulty and grindiness, but I do think it's better that we have to work for this stuff a little bit just to keep things fun. I actually like this game mode. But, yeah. Easy one. And for the global feat, using the characters who survived Order 66, we have Old Ben as the lead. He's our only option there, but he brings some evasion. And then Kanan and Grogu and Cal, you see, are a little bit lower in stamina because we were utilizing them in Sector 5. But this node here, this is the Sector 1 Datacron node that we are doing this battle on. Because when we are working on these types of things, it's usually my first go-to node for testing. Now this takes a minute, but it works well up against these Bad Batch characters. It really just a matter of getting Master's training spread to all the different characters. Because then when we start doing our AoEs, we can start doing some serious damage. And that's partly happening through the combination of Blindside and Stacking Fervor. As you'll see, as we do these assists, we're landing exposed, and landing exposed is going to make it easier and easier to knock these characters down. Because we don't have a lot of damage dealers here, but now we have a second Master's training. We're throwing it on Kanan, because I feel like he does a little bit more of a job attacking. We're forced to go after Wrecker right now. That ability dispels everybody, gives us another opportunity to attack the real threat here, which is Echo. Once Echo is gone, this is going to be a lot easier. We'll have a third master's training in a moment, which is just going to add to the amount of exposes that we do each time. So now we're landing 3 exposes, and that counter from Kanan starts knocking these characters out a little bit faster and faster. Landing debuffs and controlling the field. Our final master's training coming up next turn. I choose tech because Hunter's almost down. So I want those exposes to land somewhere where it's going to contribute more. Now we have taken out the biggest 2 threats. Tech without the other characters I'm not as concerned about. But we're going to knock him out just because it's easy. Wrecker's annoying with the taunt, but we're actually managing it fairly well with Grogu. Everyone has master's training, so now it's just calling in the assists, landing those exposes. But actually we have an opportunity now to take out Wrecker, so that's probably what I did. But the combination of Blindside and stacking Fervor is what's really doing the damage here. Because, again, these characters, they're not damage dealers. We have a lot of support, healer, and tanks. And then we're done. So that wraps up the sector videos. We do have an overview video, and down below we'll have sector 4, but we have a video for each sector already up. In the coming days, we will have at least 2 to 3 videos out. We will have the Datacron video, that's first priority. Then the Hunter, or not the Hunter, the Mercenary Wrecker kit reveal video, that'll be out. And then Jocasta's video will come out after that. That's the least timely of the 3. So thank you for watching. Reacting to each other, everybody. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.